YouTube user WM Crytest is an out, loud, and proud advocate of pedophile rights and issues. He likes to contact childhood sex abuse survivors, knowing how much his presence hurts them. He drinks their tears and feeds off their pain. He's a former school teacher, by the way. Very knowledgeable and very articulate guy. And WM Crytest very much wanted to debate me on the comment boards of my last video, but I wouldn't. I won't. It would be like debating a Holocaust denier or a 9/11 conspiracy theorist. He signs his comments Nigel. Nigel doesn't like me very much. Draconis121 is a Satanist, a disciple of Aleister Crowley, and an avowed boy lover. I hate those terms they use. Their whole terminology: boy lover, girl lover, child lover, young friend, you know, all those seedy euphemisms for child manipulation and rape. Draconis has found a home on here too, and he doesn't like me very much either. Good. Tyciol likes young girls. He's self-conscious about his bad complexion, I understand, and thinks people find him repulsive. He's right, of course. People do find him repulsive, but it isn't because of his acne problem. With him, that goes below the skin. Dendrophilian, another pedophile advocate. He looks sort of like a cross between, well, he looks like Goldilocks and sounds like Bela Lugosi. Words fail. He fails. Now, there are more, of course, a lot more. And those are just the pedophiles and pedophile advocates who announce themselves, often given their full legal names. They're proud of who and what they are. Mostly, though, YouTube pedophiles try to fly under the radar. They subscribe to dozens of kid channels. They identify and friend each other, and occasionally they make comments on videos that give them away, but not as often as I would like. But mostly they keep it on the down low, below the radar. Now others are more active. They sometimes disguise themselves as teenagers or pretend to be caring adults, you know, offering help and advice to those kids who appear to be unsupervised and vulnerable. They cultivate friendships with these children. They groom those children, telling those kids whatever they think those kids want to hear. Problems with your math? Well, no problem. You know, our pedophile guy is an engineer. You know, interested in martial arts? Hey, presto. The pedophile happens to have ninja training. You get the idea. I have come to believe that many of these online predators enjoy the psychological manipulation of these children almost as much as they do the physical, sexual violation. You know, rape is about power. The bad guys love exercising that power. They hate it too, by the way, when I call them bad guys. Usually, even the worst of bad men doesn't think of himself as a bad man. And I like reminding them. There are hundreds of pedophiles active on YouTube. Probably thousands. Most operate with relative impunity. Why? I'm not really sure. I'd like to think it isn't because YouTube actively panders to pedophiles as kind of a stealth market to keep their numbers up. You know, that would be despicable. So no, I don't believe that they allow this to go on because they're indifferent to the problem. I think they probably wrestle with how to deal with this situation every day. I mean, some of them have kids themselves, and I refuse to believe that a decent loving parent would knowingly place another parent's child in danger, not if they could help it. Whatever the reason, YouTube is not a place for loosely supervised or unsupervised children. And the idea of a YouTube-sponsored, organized kids group, of course I don't want a kids group on YouTube. Naturally, obviously, clearly, at all. This community crawls with men and some women who mean kids serious harm, psychologically and sexually. Anything that increases the odds of a kid's exposure to such people is a bad thing. No White Task, no Young Tubers United, no whatever else that might come down the road, unless and until YouTube addresses the pedophile problem here in an assertive, proactive, and effective way. And as long as that happens, and until that happens, myself and others will continue to oppose the formation of any such group. Now, this is important. It doesn't mean, at least for me, speaking only for myself here, that I want kids kicked off YouTube. So these kids, I say, make video, share with your friends, do what kids do. But let your parents know what you're doing and with whom you're doing it. Be safe. That's what I would tell my kids. A word about Young Tubers United, too. Those people within the YouTube community, users Logan Sperman 2, Irish 282, Mart, some of the most vocal proponents of YTU are also its most invisible supporters. They never show their faces. In fact, not one has ever made a video refuting any argument against them where faces are visible and voices are heard. Translate such a thing to the real world for a minute. Would any parent allow their child to enter a club or join a group where the adults helping the kids use pseudonyms, wear masks, and use filters to disguise their voices? The whole setup screams misrepresentation and fraud, and yet it goes on. Bottom line, men who want to work with and claim to be interested in the welfare of children do not equivocate, evade, or hide behind pseudonyms. They answer questions about their motives openly and frankly. They show good faith. And I've seen none of that here. A man telling me you don't have enough to convict is not a man I want anywhere near kids, ever. Good people don't shy from that kind of evil without a fight. And they don't. They haven't been. It's been my pleasure to have encountered some of the finest people and groups out there. Violet Leaves, Pervert Exposed, Nonsbuster, the YouTube Yahweh Clan, and others. Many of us are branded as haters. Although those pedophiles and pedophile sympathizers who call us that neglect to mention the object of that hatred. Shadowy, faceless men and women who view children as sexual objects and hunt those kids online like dogs chasing down a deer. In my view, one can't hate such people enough.